I have lived in Austin for 43 years. I've been out in the Colony Park area for 40 years now.
I live in Southeast Austin.
North Lamar neighborhood in the Rundberg area.
I'm from Dove Springs. That's where I grew up. Today, you have stories that talk about just because of the zip code you live in, that may dictate the type of outcome you have growing up. And Dove Springs is the 78744 zip code.
That's just so unfair, right? Why would the zip code of your birth or the zip code of your childhood home be all that important? Well, it is when you have a community that's divided, and again, this divide is just so almost, certainly there are areas east of 35 that are breaking down that gradient and they're developing rapidly. But again, are those benefits being shared by the folks that are over there?
Not too long ago, it came out that Austin is the most economically segregated city in the country. That is really a shame to have a label like that when we try to put forth the front that we are the most progressive city in the country.
My kids' friend, it happened that they had to move because they could not afford to live in Austin. It's become too expensive for them.
We talk a lot about fighting poverty. Well, in a very unintended consequence, we're pushing out our poorest and our poverty rate is dropping. And if you look at poverty rates for African American children and Hispanic children, that's where the biggest drops in poverty are. So it's not because of economic empowerment that a poverty rate drops from 45% to 35%. It's that those are Latino families and Black families that are being displaced.
Let's maintain the diversity. Let's maintain affordability so we're not running off, especially the communities of color. Urban renewal is great, but when it forces people out because they can't afford to live there anymore, then it's wrong.
The Dove Springs I knew when I was growing up there was tough, but it was still a lot of friends, a lot of family were there to support. The Dove Springs today is a lot more positive, but our neighborhood has a large amount of youth in the city. And so the city could always provide more programs for youth at the rec, more programs at the library, and more support for the residents in the neighborhood.
Our kids deserve the same thing that other kids deserve. They deserve a swimming pool. They deserve a park. We need the money for a hospital, a clinic. If we have sick individuals in our neighborhood, the closest hospital for adults is St. David's on 32nd Street. That's a long way from us. I see positive changes when it comes to working with the city departments. They at least know where we are now. I see people beginning to care.
We've got the neighborhood enhancement team, which is 17 different departments, as well as the University of Texas, and I can't remember who else from the outside, working together because they realize they're all doing something in the Rundberg area. Instead of duplicating efforts, which results in wasted time and staff, work together.
In general, we're a very positive community with our own challenges, but we tackle them on a positive note.
First, I just want to say thank you for coming out. This is really important because this is what brings communities together.
The Restore Rundberg initiative is seeking to reduce crime, to improve the quality of life of the residents, as well as people who work there, to improve access to health care and maintaining the affordability of housing. It's one thing to identify the problem, but I get really excited when I also hear them say, you know what, we don't like the trash that's in the creeks. Let's get together and do a cleanup. They're providing the solution at the same time they're identifying the problem. That's what's exciting. That shows that the community is willing to be active.
We are a neighborhood out there and we do care about each other. So we need the same things that everybody else has.
It's a super challenge. We won't fix it overnight, but I think it's our greatest most pressing problem is that we can't be the city that we want to be when we have this huge social inequity.